As reviewed, do you want me to reread that?
Okay.
All right.
Everybody can hear us now. Right. Okay, so hopefully everybody had a chance to have a look at the agenda for the AGM. I can get a motion to approve it. Kevin, second. Thing, Carrie. And the minutes of last year's meeting are attached. Hoping you guys had a chance to review those as well. If there's any matters arising from them, looks good. I will take that as a yes. And get a motion if I can to approve the minutes from last year. Thanks, Erin. Second. Follow. Sounds good. Do you like Wayne?
Yep.
Carrie.
Picking up bad habits already, eh?
Okay. Now we don't need a separate one for matters, right? Just okay. Perfect. Number 4 is resolution to ratify the action of the board. I'll read the motion. Whereas the board for the Sault Ste. Marie Public Library has acted on behalf of the combined membership over the past year, therefore be it resolved that the library board members at the annual general meeting of Monday, February 23rd, 2026, ratify, sanction, and confirm all acts, covenants, and proceedings made or taken or entered into on behalf of the board and CEO during the past year. If I can get Oliver for that, Kevin. Second, Mike. Does that sound good?
Sure.
Okay, carried. Bylaws review, number 5.
We just recently reviewed the bylaws of the policy committee meeting, and there were a few recommendations. One recommendation was to hold off an item on attendance at meetings and for further review. So that's been left off of the changes of the bylaws. The changes that were made are highlighted in red. So under elections of the officials of the board, we've added that the past chair shall act as the scrutineer for elections. And in the absence of the past chair, the secretary, which is the CEO, shall act as the scrutineer. And then also added under elections is if either of the officials of the board retire, resign, pass away, or are dismissed during their term, the board shall elect a new official at the next scheduled board meeting. That was a clause that was absent that we felt needed to be added. We also added a section under office of the board for a past chair. So there's now, I guess, a position of past chair. They'll be the non-elected official of the board. They may act as chair in the event that the chair and vice chair aren't available. They'll be just a regular voting member like all the other members. They'll provide continuity and institutional knowledge to support effective board governance. The past chair advises and mentors the chair and board as requested, and serve on committees or represent the library when requested. And the past chair respects the authority of the current chair and does not interfere with board leadership or operations. The committee felt like we should add this past chair in there to help with succession planning, knowledge transfer for when we have new chairs. Because in a previous amendment to the bylaws, we limited the terms of a chair to two terms. And so we want to make sure that there's a successful passing of the torch from one chair to the next, and that's why that's. I believe that was all the changes made to the bylaws. The policy committee did recommend it for approval.
Yeah. Everything approved. Questions, concerns, feedback? Great. Okay, so, I guess we'll need a motion to approve that as amended.
Is that not in, consent?
It's
no,
not, so,
and it will require a 2/3 majority vote, unlike most motions, because it is the bylaws.
Okay.
okay,
So for that reason, you might want to have a counted vote.
okay, so all in favor of the bylaw as amended?
Point of order?
Sure.
You need a mover and seconder, so.
Oh, okay, great, thank you. Okay, so, mover to approve the bylaw as amended. Aaron? Second. Thank you, Jamie. Okay, so we'll do a vote, all in favor of the motion, I mean, sorry, of the bylaw as amended? Got, okay, what about online? Mike, Paul, and Anshin, can you raise your hands if you're in favor? I mean, sorry, David. Just Nancy. Okay, David. Okay, David. Okay. So that's, how many of them?
David went up to,
Yeah, we're.
so that would be 7.
7? And,
Yeah, Wayne's not here.
oh, wait,
I don't think, Steve.
and Steve did, great, so you're
Deemed disposed.
opposed, right, okay, so it's carried. Okay. We will move on to number 6, the strategic plan review. Great.
In review. So in your packet of documents, a lot of it is taken from the original strategic plan documents. And then we've added some statistics, the 2025 at a glance, looking at all strategic priorities. You see there a nice graph that kind of illustrates where we are at present. We did complete 12 action items completely. But there's been a lot of progress on other action items. Quite a few of them are ongoing action items, so 38.25% more ongoing action items, and 23.5% action items advanced. And over 2025, over 2024. Progress made on 2/3 of the action items by year's end, and only 2 individual action items. That's up 1 from the previous year. And then if we look at the individual categories of the priorities, so team engagement is a strategic priority with the most room for improvement. I want to recognize that each category I want to kind of highlight something about them. So this one I would say had kind of the least movement on. But there's some really great things that we did during the year. So we had meet and greets for the federal election, something similar for the provincial. We began offering free online tutorials for local businesses using the English Academy. We supported the federal library and several initiatives. We're supporting post-secondary education requirements by accepting a library technician student as a way for first intern. And we actually this year currently have one for education program as well.
Yes, we have a student from Nipissing University, Schulich Education Program. She's doing 60 hours with us. Yes.
The staff started a free little puzzle library, so if you are into puzzling, you can grab a free puzzle. And we partnered with numerous organizations, businesses, experts to offer over the year on par for a business. For IDEA, inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. This is the area where we make the most advancement on our action items. One of the core things that we did today for this one was we created a commitment statement on inclusion, diversity, equity, and accessibility. is one of our greatest values, and we have it written as a policy. We recognize the library's Indigenous volunteers with a permanent display of a traditional lacrosse stick created by a local Indigenous knowledge keeper, Paul Fellow. He's also done some programs with us, like nature walks. And if you go upstairs where the elevator is on the top level, you'll see a plaque and a lacrosse stick and his recognition of all the help and knowledge that's been shared with by Indigenous volunteers in the library. We've increased the use of the visiting library service by including an additional route. It had gone down quite a bit during COVID times. We had to shut it down, and we've been slowly rebuilding since that period. We installed some new door openers in staff areas to improve accessibility. And then we also joined a large print sharing pool with other libraries in Ontario to regularly refresh this accessible collection. So we have them for a few month period, and then we'll ship them off. Because we have a lot of space for that collection, it's a really great sharing resource. The next strategic priority, marketing communications. This has the fewest action items not started, which means we're the most completed on in terms of actual progress made on all action items. So we did conduct an online survey through Bridge Project to learn about the digital needs of libraries for online users. In addition to that, we did the Bridge Project for not just our patrons, but also for library staff. So there's two other surveys like that. We regularly engage the community through our social media. In the week leading up to the Ontario Library Week, the City Council approved a bylaw establishing the Sault Public Library. That's kind of tangent to one of the action items, which is to get recognition for Ontario Public Library Week. So we kind of tied that together. We are continuously updating the library's website, and then we did have our annual membership drive. This year it was membership in our renewal, which was in September. For heritage and culture, the strategic priority with the most ongoing action items. So a lot of yellow on this one. It's something that we'll be continuously doing, and so you won't see necessarily a lot of completed on this until we reach the end of the plan. But in this, we offered open house events at the James L. McIntyre Centennial Library and the archives. We've been creating interesting, relevant library displays for cultural events and direct historical events throughout the year. We've hosted several workshops and training sessions on heritage preservation techniques and best practices that are like our archive technicians had a lot of really great programs. We partnered with Bon Sioux, which just finished this year. Offered a successful Family Literacy Day event with the Sioux Greyhounds. We always have a great attendance at those events. And then organized Cultural Fun Day for the Sioux Square. For service excellence, this strategic priority has the most completed action items. So for this one, we released a collection satisfaction survey to receive feedback about our collections and how well our community needs. We had a lot of really great input back from that survey. We've increased security to full-time at the library to improve safety. We released an updated customer comments suggested purchase form. Partnered with Bon Sioux. Twice. And began a project to replace the library's integrated library system to improve library systems and provide the public with a better option. So that's the kind of the updates. I made a little fancier than the one that you usually get each month.
That's great. It's very good. I have a question about, like it says, we have here 12 action items completed this year, but obviously there's.
Well, there was action items completed in previous years that are not counted.
Okay, so I'm just saying, like, there's just so much that has been done. Yeah. I think we've made a lot of really good progress. I like how you, pointed out, each one, if it was the most action items or whatever, to highlight that, but, even the one that for most improvement, the community engagement, still a lot was done there. So,
And when you look at them, you can see that each priority is not like the other one.
Yeah.
They're kind of unique in their own way. Like
right,
heritage and culture there's so many things in there that we just do year after year after year.
Yeah.
Whereas the marketing one is stuff that is a lot of it's one and done.
Mhm.
So
Great.
it's just an interesting way to look at it.
Yes, Jamie.
I have a couple of questions in the spreadsheet. I forget what the yellow highlighted text means.
So I regularly give the board an updated spreadsheet.
Okay,
And the yellow is the differences between the previous one and the current.
oh, okay.
So there are action items that have been done in 2025 that are not highlighted in the document.
Right.
The only things that are highlighted are the difference between
The
the September Excel spreadsheet that I've shared and the
And then today. So remind me, what are the years of this? Is it 4 or 5 years?
it's a 5-year plan.
And what are the years?
24 to 29.
The 29. So I guess I have two concerns. One is that I would roughly say a third of them are not started, depending on what category you're on. And a related concern is the number that don't have a timeline, the timeline is blank. And I'm wondering if, sort of midway through the strat plan, we could go through and fill in some more time.
Yeah, we can, and we do plan on reviewing this with the board, individual action
Exactly.
items.
As a board thing, I
As
think
a
that would
board
be a
development.
board agenda something. Would be to go through the timelines and attach, like page 2 has no timeline.
And just a note on some of the action items that aren't started, some of them are time related. So like the municipal election is until this year, and that's an action item that we wouldn't be able to do prior doing a meeting for the municipal election because we had to wait for it to happen. Same with a lot of our policies, they're on a schedule. So we wouldn't have touched those action items until the schedule time.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Anybody online? Okay. Great. And we can move on to the annual report. First time looking at it, so you're gonna have to really take it through.
I don't know. I might be able to share this responsibility with some of the ladies down the table,
There you go.
Caitlin and Marlene. They really led this project. So maybe I'll let them introduce the new report to you. Who wants to start?
What do you want to hear? So this is a new look for the annual report. Yeah, we made it a little smaller, a little bit more visually appealing, we hope, a little more colorful. We've got the strategic plan here, which we just looked at. You can see in the pie shapes what we've got accomplished and what we don't. On the next page, we've got some staff changes, some updates, which we're all sitting here in the room to see. Something a little different, I think, this year is we put pictures on our popular books as opposed to just listing them. They were just listed in the past. So visually appealing and people can see the books and the covers. It's a little bit nicer. And then by the numbers, it's very exciting. Maybe Caitlin wants to talk a little more about the numbers.
Of course. So this first page that you see will summarize a lot of the browsing and checkout data, as well as the total number of questions asked. So we have our card holders, our items borrowed per active member, new borrowers, our visits. Those are some really impressive statistics. Our questions asked. So a lot of these statistics take into consideration all service desks at Centennial and at the North Branch. So they're the combined totals. We were really impressed with our online catalog views, over 800,000 on our website views. So they're self-explanatory. We're very proud of our programming and outreach numbers. We served for 28,000 individuals in 965 programs. So below in the 6 boxes, we've tried to break them down into categories. So our adult and senior programming, and also our child and teen programming. So we were really impressed with some of these numbers this year.
I just want to note too that the banner along the bottom, all of these quotes are quotes that came from the survey that was put out in August. So some of these are the highlights of the comments that people were making about the library.
The next few pages include, they're more text heavy. Like Marlene said, we tried to make it a little bit more visually appealing and easier to read at first glance, but we didn't want to miss out on adding a little bit more detail about some of our staff and some of the programming that we've done. So we have an archival report provided by Kevin. We've also included a small new section here celebrating our staff. So this year we had 2 staff who received awards from Matthew at our staff development day in November. So Kathy and Kaylee. And then, of course, we've highlighted some of our programs. There are so many to choose from, so this is a bit of a tough decision, but we have our Doors Open Ontario program that we hosted here at Centennial for the first time in probably 20 years, 15 or 20 years. Our Jane Austen at 250, our Halloween costume swap, our drag story time at North Branch, Culture Days Family Fun Day, and our author event with Shed Schultz. So that's what we chose to highlight this year. And of course, we have our Friends of the Library and a special section about our volunteers and program sponsors. So we have Nadine. And Nadine provided us with a lovely summary about the Friends activity this year that we've included. And then, of course, we have our financial piece that Rebecca provided to us. And then the final page includes our very generous donors, but also some lovely images from our volunteers. Any questions?
Out of the numbers and the various categories here and anything, did you notice any sharp increases in anything or any decreases at all, or is everything pretty much on par with last year?
It's on par. I would have to go back at some of the summaries or the totals that we provided this year were a little bit different from the ones that we collected last year.
Okay.
Like we chose to kind of clump together, you know, our in-house adult and senior, and then our in-house child and teen versus like the passive and outreach.
Mm-hmm.
So I would have to go back in and sort of compare using the same
I'm wondering if
category.
anything jumped out
Yeah.
when we were putting this together.
No,
Okay.
I think that we're on par, if not maybe a little bit higher,
Yeah.
as far as the attendees goes.
Yeah.
I can say when I started this 7 years ago, when I did my first one, the card holders was closer to 20 to 21,000.
Okay, yeah, that seems like a
So
number, yeah.
over a 7-year period, there's been quite an increase.
The visits are impressive as well.
How are visits calculated?
We have door counters, and so it counts every time somebody passes through, and then we divide it by 2.
Okay.
So we assume everybody entering is exiting, and that's how we get our participants.
Here's hoping. Anybody else? Anything they want to add? I ask this every year, but where is this circulated? Like where can members of the public pick up a copy?
We'll have some printed out. It'll be located on our website. And then we also tend to send it out to a mailing list of people that we have. So it would be emailed to a number of organizations.
Right. So website and some hard copies here in the library. Okay.
So do some copies go to our stakeholders? Particularly ones that are named on the back.
We can definitely send some of these via mail to some of our partners because I know
Because then they can distribute it there and as well.
and then said a lot of us other stakeholders, organizations, team members and stuff like that. We would send we'll send it to the city council.
That was my next question. Are you presenting it to city council?
Yes.
You have in the past.
We have in the past. I'll talk to Wayne and stuff about that.
Yeah. I mean, that was one of our strategies for marketing and advocacy. Yeah, council table, more than once a year.
Thank you for putting this together. It's really quite good.
It's actually
Good
quite
job.
fun. In the end,
Good
it was
job.
fun.
Yeah, thank you.
The staff worked really hard
Yeah, you can tell. That's really
all the way up to today.
great.
Yeah.
Right, thank you again. Anything for Friends of the Library report?
Okay, so I'm not sure if I have met everyone, especially those on Zoom. But yeah, I'm Nadine Workington Brain, and I have been fortunate enough to be the president of the Friends of the Library for about the last year, and it's been terrific joy every day. It's nice. It's really great to have the opportunity to do this. Last year in 2025, we raised just over $41,000 from bookstore and related venue sales. And we think that's excellent. Jamie will point out that $800 of that was actually sold in the previous year in 2024, but it was posted in 2025. So we're taking credit for it in 2025. Yeah, exactly. And those sales come from mainly our bookstore next door, which is open 6 days a week. And also some online sales. Jamie has been operating an Amazon reseller site for us for several years. And is now training someone new to take that over from her. And also this year we started selling on a regular basis at the North Branch. We have a nice display unit there, and the staff at the North Branch are really helpful in processing the sales there. So those are the venues. We also, and I'll talk about this in a minute, we also go out into the community from time to time with a little pop-up bookstore, and so those sales count towards our total too. At the same time, last year we sent a really large number of nearly new books, DVDs and books on CD to the library to go into the collection for circulation. And I need to get a number from Michael on what the total actually was for 2025. But it was far more going into the library collection in 2025 than in previous years. Working with Michael and Julie, we tweaked the criteria for books that go into the library, and I think that's worked out really well. So that's a good news story all the way around. We have over 45 active volunteers that make it all happen. Plus a revolving cast of students that come to do their volunteer hours with us, mainly from the various boards of education. So that's excellent. And we contributed together roughly 6,500 volunteer hours throughout the year. It's a really good group of dedicated people who love to talk about books and help people find books. And also are just really good to work with and good to our customers. We spent a lot of time this past year on outreach into the community, and those of you who were here last year, you may remember that we were fortunate enough to receive a grant from the Retired Teachers of Ontario of $4,000 in late 2024, and we put that to use throughout last year, supporting many of our outreach programs, especially towards places where seniors live and gather. For instance, at the North Branch, I mentioned the new installation that we have there. We also set up and stocked Take a Book, Leave a Book cart at the Bay Street Active Living Center next door here on Bay, and that's been a really big hit. We continue to, help them keep that stocked and fresh. We set up a little library at the Vandale Manor. We delivered books quarterly to the Mapleview home. We conducted a couple of pop-up bookstores at the Legion residence. And we continue to support the little free libraries around town, especially those in the downtown area. It's interesting, we actually have a couple of customers that are helping us to distribute the books to the little free libraries now. We put together bags for them of, books that are probably not saleable for us. And a couple of fellows who work with, they work for Community Living Algoma, and they come as aides with some of the people from Community Living, and they distribute bags of books to some of the local police around. Yeah, it's really great. Yeah, and they're so happy to do it. It's really it's a nice thing. We also donated books to the Sioux Area Hospital, the Soup Kitchen, the Algoma Treatment and Remand Center, Northland Adult Learning Center, Christmas Cheer, and many other local social service organizations where people gather. We participated this year in a survey of Friends of the Library organizations across Canada. And we were one of 30 groups that participated. And there's an excellent report that summarizes all the findings from that survey. And it's good information to see what other organizations are doing with their libraries. Everyone is envious of the space that the Sault Ste. Marie Library has provided for our bookstore. Most Friends of the Library organizations do not have that advantage, but they do other interesting things to raise funds and to, support the communities that they live in with books and access to reading. So it's good learning for us. We'd like to sort of look into some of the ideas that other groups have been having success with for our group this year. Yeah.
Do those other libraries that have smaller spaces generate the same kind of funds that you do?
Yeah, some of them do.
Yeah.
Some of them, especially it seems in Alberta, they're really big with these charitable casino events that they run, and they can raise a lot of money with a single event, and then they might have multiples through the year. So they don't have any kind of ongoing like book sales like we do. But another thing that's very common is like periodic book sales that might be occurring in the library space or might be occurring in some community center. So they'll do like maybe 3 sales a year, that kind of thing. Others are doing 50-50 draws. They do online sales, and that can be quite lucrative. Certainly, I think when we looked at across the 30, the contributions that we're able to make by having the bookstore 6 days a week are better than most. But some are doing really well with the, individual events as well. Yeah. Yeah. So like I say, we want to take a look at some of the things that we hear about that are working well in other organizations and see if we have the people to look at maybe adding to some of the things that we're doing for this coming year. We did complete the work and the expenditures with our retired teachers grant this year. And that included some special donations to the library for large print books and for several of the Envoy Connects talking book devices for visually impaired patrons. And that's just fit perfectly with the RTO grant intentions. So that was really great. We now, something new that we're doing now is we were approached late last year, October, November, by some of the recreation staff at the Algoma Treatment and Remand Center to see if we could provide some volunteers to help them with their library inside the jail. And so we have now identified 6 volunteers who are interested in doing that and who are now cleared to work inside the jail library. And we've had a couple of visits now in the last week. And we're just sort of taking stock. They have a really big library space actually, and it's quite good.
Wow.
The books are really worn and well used, and can use a lot of refresh and reorganization. They used to have a full-time library, not a full, but they used to have a staff librarian, which then they lost their funding for that. So we help them organize that library so that it's more useful for them, and possibly train some inmates to keep it up as well. So that's a new thing that we're just embarking upon now. Other than that, should I talk about the bylaw changes that you made? Do you think?
I mean, the friends asked for some changes to their bylaws. I helped them with the wording a little bit. So that they could have a credit card.
Yeah.
And better do online sales.
Right, yeah. So Jamie is working with a new volunteer to transition the Amazon sales over to Chris. And one of the things that's required, Jamie has very generously to date been using her own personal credit card and her own personal bank account associated with the Amazon store sales. So we're trying to professionalize that now and not expect Chris to do that. And so we're going to apply for a credit card that is associated with that Amazon sales account for fees, etc. And we had to change our bylaws in order to do that. So we did that at our recent annual meeting. Okay, other than that, I'd really like to thank Matthew and all of the library staff for helping us out tremendously through the year to do what we do. It's a joy to come and work here, and it's a great group of people to work with, and we really appreciate the help and support. And we also, of course, thank the people of Sault Ste. Marie who donate their used books, DVDs, CDs, etc., so that we can have a bookstore. It's a really good community resource, and yeah, a lot of people make it happen. I also have membership forms for those of you who like to.
For Wayne's
Yes, exactly.
day today. If you guys are like me, your friend's membership is probably run out and you need a new one for 2026, $5.
Right.
Fill out the form.
Right. Yeah. So I can.
Pass them down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll pass them around.
It's missing, so.
Yours is missing. I know. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure, mine is done. Could I have these mine?
Yes, of course.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
It's a little free library. This will not be a session. It's a little free library book.
There's no little free library.
But they're more. I never seen them. I thought they were cheaper.
As long as
No, they
say you only need one finger to work on each page.
Oh.
We are. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Matthew, did where did I get that?
They were planning on 2, but
And the
They were-
city carpenters built. the one that we have?
No, it was a school classroom that built it.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
then the city, what they did is they put down the concrete pad.
Oh, wow,
And then
okay.
they improved what the students had already built by putting like a tin roof on it so that it would
It's
last.
beautiful. It's nice and big. Way bigger, it's double the size of the one I have in my driveway.
Yeah, but it was done by students in a
Exactly.
local high school. We would need permission from the school board in order to mount anything to the board.
Unless we put it inside the library, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, all the books inside the library are free.
Yeah.
Your sales part,
You
yeah.
can't take one and leave one. Well, you could try it. Okay, I'm not sure. I'm totally thought there were two and that we were doing both. Okay, I'm mistaken.
I want to say thank you to Macy and never cease to make me how much that you and your team accomplish every year. Such an outstanding result. So congratulations to you guys. The reports that survey that you participated in,
Yeah.
that was the first one.
Yes,
First time?
it was the first time that I have participated. Jamie has been involved with it for years.
The survey for the friends, yeah.
There's a fellow out in Alberta that's trying to create a networking
That's awesome.
platform for friends, and that
Yeah.
was how I heard about it.
Yeah, that's great, right?
Yeah.
To get the ideas and learn.
Yeah,
new
yeah.
things. So looking forward to seeing what new activities you guys might try out
Yeah,
for
Yeah.
this year.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's some really interesting stuff that people are doing. Yeah, and sometimes, I mean, we have the great advantage of having the space, which is excellent, and so we run the bookstore. But if we didn't have that, then you have to be creative in other ways, right? And that's what we see with some of the other organizations. Yeah.
And the Remand Center, I'm glad to see that we can help out there. So will that be an ongoing supporter role, do you think, or?
We will see. I think we now know after being there a couple of times, it's maybe a bigger job than we anticipated. There's a lot of outdated stuff there and a lot of materials. So we're starting with sort of cleaning out the worst items. And then ultimately they want to sort of have some sort of inventory as well, which I think will work with the inmate population that
Yeah.
they
That's pretty cool.
identified to create the inventory rather than us doing that. But making it so that it's organized enough that either inmates can find what they're looking for, or the recreation staff, when they're filling requests, can find what they're looking for
Yeah.
Easily enough, and identify, what they're missing and what they have to buy. They've become really good customers at the bookstore too,
Yeah,
which is great.
great, that's great. opportunity.
Yeah.
Thanks again. Anybody think they want to say? Wayne's joined us, I see. Hi, Wayne. Oh, okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. We don't have any delegations. Okay. All right, so I guess I'll just get a motion to adjourn. And Jamie, yeah. Seconder. Wayne. Okay, great. So we'll adjourn, carried. Thanks, everyone. This report.